Welcome everyone to the AMA session. Let me introduce our founders today. We have Arman Sood with us, who is the founder for Sleepy Owl. He manages operations, supply chain, and institutional sales, and ensures that customers are happy and caffeinated at all times. And personally, Arman, I've also tried the product, and I love Sleepy Owl coffee.
Thank you, Sugam.
Then we have Gatik Bhandari with us. He's the founder for The Burnt Soul. He's an Indian entrepreneur who is redefining his father's legacy of Indian craftsmanship. And Bhandari Exports is one of the largest handicraft furniture exports house in the country today. Welcome, Gatik. Can't hear you, Gatik. I think till Gatik can resolve the technical issues, I think I'll start with you, Arman. So I think we are, we are all seeing this rise in e-commerce and the D2C space. The first thing I think everyone would want to understand and know is the genesis of your idea. How did you think that you're going to do coffee, and how did you end up starting it? What was that eureka moment for you?
Okay, so I graduated from law school in 2015, and between 2012 and 15, while I was in law school, my co-founder Ashujit and I started a business selling bar accessories. So that was the eureka moment for us to get into entrepreneurship, really, right? That we want to start our own business, we want to do something on our own. So we imported bar accessories from China, and we set up a website. And in 2012 itself, right, we were doing D2C of bar accessories from our university with our warehouse in his house in Jalandhar, and shipping goods from local courier companies across the country, right? Before there was any infrastructure, that was there for D2C to happen or for e-commerce to happen successfully. Of course, because there was no infrastructure, there was no penetration, there was, limited solutions like the ones you
Right.
offer.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in college and I was all of 19 years old, the business failed, right? But when we finished law school, 3 years of running that business, we told ourselves that, yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to set up, a D2C business or an e-commerce business or a business that involves selling products or services online. And we had tasted the blood, right? And it was just this conviction that we want to do it. So we convinced our parents, and we didn't become lawyers. I started working at a startup in Bombay in the education technology space. Ashujit worked in a fashion startup, and we were working separately. And within 6 months of that, he asked me, Arman, I'm ordering coffee beans, and it's a complicated process to make coffee. How is the coffee in your office? And I was like, really bad. It's office coffee. There's a machine, and we get a poor quality coffee. So I go to Starbucks or anything nearby and buy coffee. So he's like, okay, you spend 200, 300 rupees on coffee every day. I was like, not every day, but kabhi kabhi to karna padta hai, right? And one thing led to another, and we started researching the coffee space in India and realized that there is no, successful in-home young D2C coffee brand that is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the out-of-home space, you have cafes like Barista, CCD, Lava, so on and so forth. But in the in-home coffee market, other than Nestle, there hasn't been any disruption. So with that genesis and with that thought, we got into the coffee business.
Wonderful, Arman. I think I would also like to share something here. Not many people know this. My first startup was also a coffee startup, and unfortunately, it was not in India, and I was in class 12, and I was not very much into studying, and that's what led to me exploring things, the e-commerce models, and I was doing drop shipping from within US, so taking it from a supplier and selling it to the consumers with custom branding. And that was I think that was my first venture where I tasted the blood and understood this is what I want to do post graduation.
Lovely.
I think Gatik is back with us. He's still connecting. So Arman, in the meantime, I would like to know the inspiration behind the brand Sleepy Owl. So I understand it pertains to the night, and it's coffee is against the sleeping thing.
Yeah, so I mean, broadly, we decided very early on that if you want to become a consumer brand, right, and you want to become a brand that is popular or people know and talk about, right, it's very important to have a memorable name, right, a name that is easy to recall. So that was one of the inspirations, very intentional. I mean, we needed a name that is catchy, and we spent more than 2.5, 3 months, trying to crack what is it
I
that.
think Arman is having some issue. Aman, it got stuck in between. So
Okay. So I
yeah,
was
you
saying it was the idea was to, very intentional to have a catchy name. It was very
right.
intentional to come up
Uh-huh.
with a name that is memorable because यार आप ही देखो हर तरफ दिन रात मतलब brands are launching left, right, and center, right? So there's so much competition and you have very limited attention of your consumer, right? So in that limited attention time, you have to have something that is memorable, and that is why the name Sleepy Owl, and it's caught on quite well. The other aspect of this was ki, our owl, the logo, right?
Yeah,
One should someday be able to look at an owl without the name and say, okay, yeah, Sleepy Owl.
this is
The logo can be used on the way it is used today on merchandise, on t-shirts, on many different places. So it allows you to build a bigger brand if you have a logo that can be replicated.
right, Arman. Very interesting story. So moving to Gatik, we would like to know your entrepreneurial journey. How did you start? And probably the genesis of the very interesting name, but the Burnt Soul.
So Shubham, we started this brand in 2016. So in 2015, near about Diwali, we had a huge fire in our factory. So we have our handicraft factory, and we are one of the largest exporters of handicraft furniture and all these things. So we had a fire. So out of that, we thought like now it was like we have to start everything again. So we started this brand with the name The Burnt Soul. So it resembles that story where everything burnt, and then we started again from ash, and then this name we started like that, and then we later on we diversified ourselves into fashion, and now we are also starting with home decor. We'll be soon starting with our furniture products also online. So this is how we started with the name.
Right, Gatik. Wonderful collection on the website. I was just going through that before the session, and
Thank you.
whatever limited understanding I have of the women fashion space, it looks wonderful. Moving on, I think the question to both of you, when you started out and you were in the process of setting it up, what was that one challenge, one hurdle that came in front of you and you were like, almost at the verge of nahi, this can't be done. So was there a moment like that, and how do you overcome that? Maybe we can start with Arman.
Okay. So when we started the business, we uh, we started with a category called cold brew coffee, right? We were India's first cold brew coffee company, right? Now, while I say that with a lot of pride, that also means that we had to educate a market that is an instant coffee drinking market primarily, or let's put it even before that, we're a tea drinking nation, right? So to convince and to educate and to explain only through a digital means, right? What cold brew is extremely tough, right? So we at that point felt they're more than a product company. At that stage, you were like a consumer education company, right? We were educating and trying to, make sure that people understand what it is that we're selling. Because if they don't understand it, they won't buy it, right? That was very, very challenging for us. And I think in the last 5 years, we've been working hard towards educating our consumers. I remember in 2018 when Starbucks came to India with cold brew, right? When they launched cold brew in all their stores, a lot of people said, "Yeah, aapka kya hoga?" But I think for us, it was a very positive sign because it validated the fact that yes, globally it's trending. We're the first people to do it. Starbucks was brought in today. Almost every coffee brand has a similar product offering in terms of cold brew like us, right? And we know we've done the hard work to educate the consumer. And of course, the pie is very big. So there should be more cold brew brands. And we would urge customers to try everything. but they'll ultimately come back to the hero product, which is ours.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, Arman. I think the best product always wins. No doubt about that. And yeah, so moving to Gatik. So Gatik, any thoughts here about the hurdles in starting up?
Shugam, our major hurdle was our mindset because I'm coming from a background where we do export, and there we do one customer $1 million
Right.
order, and dealing like maybe 50,000 1 lakh pieces to one single customer, and dealing here we had to deal with one piece to one customer, and almost the same amount of conversation with them. So changing that mindset was very difficult for us initially. It took us time to realize like we need to uh, focus on our customer care. So that's the main challenge we were facing, and we are still facing as we grow. So that is the thing now we are working on.
Understood. Was any of the back-end aspects a challenge, like because you're not from the industry, maybe the sourcing or the understanding the customization or the number of SKUs that you have to carry, maybe the inventory, holding of inventory, were any of these a challenge for you?
Shugam, you've asked the right question. So one of this holding how much inventory, that's one of the biggest challenge we are still trying to learn. So it's as we grow, we need to change our strategy. So when we started initially, we stocked up a huge amount because we were expecting the same amount of sales what our buyers they give us. Export buyers. So we stocked up a huge quantity for each of the product. But later on, we realized that you need to select your best sellers and stock accordingly. You cannot put the same amount of money in each of the product. So that's the main learning, and I think most of the fashion brands they know this challenge of stocking, how much to stock for for which product.
Absolutely, Gatik. So Arman, calling you back.
Yes, right.
And past 15 months, I think, is a topic of conversation in every room.
Oh.
And everybody, every business, every individual on an individual personal level, on a professional level, has seen different kind of challenges. And what has been the journey for you in the past 15 months?
So when COVID first hit, it was one of those, definitely a very scary, very uncertain time and moment, right? But it kind of at some level reminded me of our early days of the business, right? I think as you were growing from 2016 to 2020, there are a lot of layers, and you're doing a lot of things, and you're doing strategy, and you're playing the bigger picture. But the day COVID hit and we had to get our licenses and your passes and all of those things, and I remember it felt like going back to day zero, where I was standing at the police station, picking up my employees, dropping them home in the evening, doing like literally all the groundwork that's needed to be done, and it felt good. That hustle, that drive to be on ground and get your hands dirty has to be there all through your journey. You can't run away from that, right? In terms of business, we're skeptical. What's going to happen? Where is this going to go? But touch wood, we've grown 4x in the last 15 months because in-home coffee consumption has really, really, really picked up, and the food and beverage category has seen, as a category itself, as an industry, there's been a tremendous response. I would go to the extent of saying that looking forward to the third wave. At least from the business standpoint, I think it'll accelerate our growth even faster. But on a personal standpoint, I got COVID. Team members got COVID. Extended friends and family have had difficult time. And at the emotional and mental level, it was very, very tough to manage those ups and downs in this journey. So from that perspective, no third wave.
Absolutely, Arman. Gatik, any learnings from the any challenges, primary major challenges that you saw in the past 15 months? You're on mute, Gatik. Gatik, you're on mute.
Shubham, a major challenge during pandemic was, shipping our products. We had this, luck that our industry was allowed, because we are also export industry. So our industry was allowed to work during the lockdown days with limited number of staff. But shipping out the product was very difficult. We were getting huge orders because people were not able to, go out and buy stuff from shops or showrooms. So there was 4x or 5x or 6x increase in our online sales. But we were not able to deliver, and we had produced and packed them, but there were huge cancellation during that time. Those initial lockdown days.
Right. I think that has been a challenge for a lot of brands. And Arman, do you have a, in terms of consumer experience, and given the category of the product, do you have a return policy or exchange policy?
Yes, we do. It was a no questions asked return and refund. So there's not really a policy, and we obviously, as a business, I think it is a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
We at some level got screwed, no doubt, because of that policy. But also, if you are able to cater to those customers and their specific requests and do a good job of handling and satisfying the customers, right, it can work out in your favor as well, right? So what we did when lockdown happened is we stopped COD till October. In October, we reactivated COD, but we created a custom app to do COD confirmations so that there's limited returns on COD. Prepaid orders usually do not face major returns. Today, our return rates are as low as 2 to 2.5%. So we're quite happy with that. In terms of customer support, I still am the person who gets all phone call related customer support queries 5 years into the business. So you can go on Google, find my number, give me a call, anything. I try and do justice to as many calls. So I'll tell you a story from yesterday. A customer called and said, I placed an order. It's about to reach me today. It's out for delivery. And I'd like to cancel my order. Or I would like to not receive the product. What if I reject it? So I had a very honest conversation. I said, यार आप reject करोगे तो वापस आ जाएगा. मेरा बहुत नुकसान होगा. तो आप क्यों reject करना चाहते हो? Usually customer support doesn't handle issues like this, right? It was me, so I said, let me play this card today for the first time. And I said, what do you want to, why do you want to do that? I have to reject you. But yeah, the person I want to gift it to now. No, I don't want to gift it. So I'm like, yeah, okay. Why don't you gift it to yourself? Why don't you gift it to yourself? Why don't you enjoy the coffee and the product and rakh lo yaar, aap kyun mera nuksan kyun karna chahte ho? So she started laughing and she said, chal yaar, main rakh leti hu. So
what a nice story.
And she kept it, right? And then I said, chal yaar, and I mentioned to her, I'm the founder, and I hope you enjoy the coffee. In the evening, 4 hours after the call, I got a message saying, thank you so much for making me keep the product. I really, really love the tumbler.
Wow.
I was like, I just, saved the sale, right? Because for her to reject a pay, she said, will I get a refund? I was like, yeah, I mean, karna to padega. I can't tell a customer, listen, no, you will reject it. I will not refund you. I will not give you your money back. Yeah. Whatever your policy might be, right? If a customer comes to you and says, listen, I've rejected the shipment, not got my product, please give me my money back. With what legal policy or document will I go to her and say, nahi, main nahi dunga aapke paise? Ultimately, you have to look at customer satisfaction as key, right?
True.
So yes, we have policies, but I don't see that paper policy as something that needs to always apply in the real world. It's very tough to implement. You will have irate customers if you do that, right? क्योंकि अगर मैं पॉलिसी के लाइंस के फाइन प्रिंट में ले जाऊंगा वो भी बंदा बोलेगा ठीक है मैं भी करूंगा फिर and the problem in today's day and age, and I love my customers and I love customers in general, but man, they'll run straight to Twitter, straight to Instagram, start shaming you. That I feel is something that is it has such negative impact on the brand, right? And you as a brand don't even have the opportunity to explain yourself. You're screwed, right? So in that situation, I always put the customer first, and the team is also trained to do that. So this is a good journey experience I thought I'll share with you.
I think that contributes a lot towards growth of any brand. regardless the industry or the space, or even you're on a retail level or a wholesale or distribution level. Customer experience, the buyer experience is a primary factor towards, the growth of the brand. So Gatik, I feel, as far as I understand, there is a lot of sizing issue in the size related. So how do you tackle that, and what do you think, what are your candid thoughts on that problem?
Shubham, we've been facing this problem, and we are trying to develop a software, or you might say app, where the people can put their measurements, the people can put their height or something, and it can suggest them the best possible size or fitting for that particular product they are looking for. It's a difficult journey always for a customer to come on a website and try to find a product without trying it on. And I would, I would say something else than what Arman said over here. We have a little strict return policy, because we are a boutique brand, and we are into fashion, and we have faced initially a lot of challenge where customer used to order from us, they used to wear it a day or two, and then they used to return it saying that there's a size problem, or they did not like it or something. And it's difficult to track, and there has to be some medium ground, like there has to be a common ground where we give customer satisfaction, but still not hamper our business. So we always before they buy, we always whenever customer asks, we always say that we have an easy exchange policy, where you can no question asked, you can exchange any product. But once you have taken the product in, then we do not refund, because it's a difficult situation where we cannot track if the customer has used the product or not used the product or something like this.
Right. So before I move to the next line of conversation, I would like to address a question asked to me in the chat. Mr. Sanjay Mehta asked, can you please suggest me who can help me to distribute mangoes for the home delivery? So Mr. Sanjay, and to everyone in the audience, mangoes is something which is a perishable food item. So we can surely help you deliver mangoes within the city, within wherever you are shipping from. But when we talk about shipping them across cities, it becomes a bit of a challenge. And the primary factors for not servicing mango deliveries across cities is to maintain your customer experience and to maintain our customer experience as well. So if we take it and it takes a couple of days to deliver and the mangoes go bad, it's a problem for both of us. So I think that would answer your question. Moving to next line of conversation, Gatik. Being an entrepreneur, we have a lot of, I think we would have some entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs listening in. Do you have any advice or any experiences to share, any story that you want to share with the audience? You're on mute, Gatik. Gatik, you're on mute. Yeah.
Shugam, one thing I would like to share with everyone here is, like, no matter what kind of product you are selling, like end of day, you need to have a very good packaging, very good marketing, very good videos, photographs of your product, because you are selling online. So a customer cannot see a product, customer cannot feel a product. So only way to enhance their experience is to have a beautiful packaging and use the best possible way of marketing that product.
Right, Arman, food for thought for the audience.
I'm I think there are a lot of people who have a fear of starting up, right? Let's first put it that way.
Yeah.
Doubtful about starting up, right? So I think it's very important to just start, right? Start something, and once you're on that journey, you will gradually two questions, right? We look at Sleepy Hour today and say, okay, you have so many products, you have these categories. We were not this when we started, right? We are
Mhm.
here 5 years from now. So it's taken 60 months to reach here. So it's very, very, look at something, journey to get to where they are today, right? And just get over that fear of starting, and answers will start presenting themselves as you are on the journey.
Absolutely. I would like to add here that, for all the audience members, that what Arman said and what Mr. Gatik said as well, fear of starting up, I have seen a lot of people just planning and, spending a lot of time in planning things, so that everything is perfect when starting up. And mostly when you start up, it never pans out that way. Whatever you have planned, there will be some deviations, there will be some ups and downs, and the best way is to start, with a bare minimum and just, take it ahead. Moving on, I have an interesting question. So I think we can start with Gatik. Gatik, who would you, say is your role model? Who do you follow in personal life and, look upwards to? Unmute Gatik again.
So
Gatik,
my role models keep changing, Whoever in the present is doing good, I follow that person. So it's a difficult one to answer right now.
very interesting
But yeah,
answer.
of course, I very closely have seen my father. So, I have been trying to work as hard as him. So otherwise, there is no specific one.
Wonderful, Gatik. Anyone, Arman, that you follow, you walk in the footsteps of, on mute, Arman.
Sorry, I think I enjoy reading a lot of autobiographies and biographies, right? So it's not someone specifically that I like to follow or I try to emulate, because I think everyone's life journey is different. Everyone has different challenges, different backgrounds, different places they come from. But yeah, reading autobiographies or biographies gives you perspective. It gives you perspective on another person's hustle, journey, story, and you will learn from each of those things. So there's no one specific person that I emulate or follow. But I think it's about acquiring knowledge and the best from everyone around you, right? And it could be peers as well. It doesn't need to be big shots that people might know if I announce a name, right?
Got very diplomatic answers from both of you. And so we have a question for Arman in the chat, in the Q&A. So Mr. Bikram asks, please share about how do you manage to make space in the competitive market and deal with channel partner objections. So does a channel partner model apply to you, Arman?
By channel partner, you mean retail, modern trade, general trade?
I think yes. I think I've seen your products placed at In and Out and 24/7.
Yeah. So firstly, how did we make a space in the competition? I think there was no competition when we started, right?
Right.
We were in a category that was new, and it's always tough to find new categories to get into. But we were lucky at that point to chance upon a category that was very new, and we set the tone for what the category, was meant to be, and how the products would be positioned and priced and placed, and we did everything, right? So at that time, there was no competition in the market related to what we were doing. Therefore, there was no channel partner objection, right? Like people were excited about having our product on their shelves and consuming it. So we got lucky with that. So yeah, that
Is it there today? I mean, even I am interested to understand
today, I think. See, we do face channel partner objection. Like I'll give you an example. Like okay, let's put it this way, right? The channel partner objection is not because of the competition or because of the category. It's because not everybody wants to buy what you have to sell, right? That is the nature of the business. So you have to not give up. Some of my biggest clients today are clients that I started pursuing 2.5, 3 years ago. So I could have stopped. I could have given up. I could have said, "Nahi hoga, chhod do," right? There are clients that I've been pursuing for 3 years. They still haven't closed, but fingers crossed, maybe another month, 2 months, 5 months, you don't know, right? So how do I deal with objection? I don't deal with it. I wait to convert that objection into a yes.
I absolutely agree with you on that and wish you the best to convert all the objections to the yeses.
Thank you.
And Gatik, one question we have is regarding the marketing cost that you should target or plan for selling D2C.
Sugam, there is no specific marketing, cost, fixed cost. But you should always try, like if you are doing an online business, then you should always try to at least have 4.5, 4x or 4x above ROS. So if you are not having that kind of a return on your ads, then of course you are burning in a lot of money. So if you need to be profitable, then you need to have that kind of return on your ad spend.
Absolutely, Gatik. So that is one approach to take. And I think that's pretty much it from the Q&A section. Now from my Q&A section, next question comes in. As an entrepreneur, how has it changed your life? From both of you, I want one positive and one negative. What has become better? What has, maybe not so much for the better. Maybe Arman, you can start. Yeah.
So I think the positive would be yeah, I mean you control your own time, right? You are able to.
But do you?
So that's the negative, right? So today I got a call from a packaging vendor who called me at 10 o'clock on a Saturday. She's like, yeah, I thought a lot before calling you. पता नहीं आप काम कर रहे होगे Saturday पे नहीं, क्योंकि हमारे clients mostly MNCs हैं जो Saturday नहीं काम करते. So I was like, listen, 24 into 7 into 365, आपको जब phone करना है आप करो, right? So the positive is you own your time, but the negative is, do you really? But the thing is, in between that positive and negative is a feeling of, I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm thinking. I know how I'm strategizing, where I want to go, how to get there, right? And that control is mine. The win is mine. Not just mine, I mean our teams, right? The win and the loss and the happiness and the sadness, it's all a part of it together.
Absolutely. So Gatik, one from you. No diplomacy.
I think I agree with Arman. You can control your time, and you can also become independent when you have your own business. You are an entrepreneur. You are independent, and you dictate your own present and future. So only way to decide your future is to be an entrepreneur. Otherwise, it's you are always somebody else will be deciding your future.
Absolutely. Agreed to both your points. And Arman, one learning from probably a life experience or a college experience or a childhood experience that you use today in your business, which has helped you grow as a person, as an entrepreneur.
I think the biggest here would be, yeah. So I think I'm not pro taking shortcuts per se, right? But there's always a way around. Like you have to know that, right? You have to know in your day to day that कि यार कोई ना कोई तरीका है इसको काम निकलवाने का जो है, and you can't give up before you find that tarika, right? So I think I learned this from a little bit from how my dad operates, right? Like so I think there's a story that reminds me of my childhood when we were at KFC when it had just opened in Calcutta, and there was a long line, and my father had taken our family for lunch, and we were kids, right? And we're standing in line, long line, and after 2 minutes of standing, he's like, we followed him the line and told the guard कि हमें बैठ के नहीं खाना, हमें take away करना है. So we went inside, we ordered our food, took it away, and then instead of a table for 4, there was a table for 2 that was available. So my brother and I sat, my parents stood beside us, and we ate our food and we walked out, right? While everybody else is still standing in line, maybe for an hour or 2 hours, right? So I understand that it's a cheeky shortcut, right? Also an ingenious way of thinking about situations, right? And that ingenious way of thinking about situations is something I try and apply. It's not a shortcut. It's just about how you look at a situation in life and navigate that. Kaam hamara ho gaya. We settled for that two-person table instead of a 4, but we managed. So I apply this in my day-to-day business as well, right? Like,
wonderful to know, Arman. I mean, I was not expecting that, and I really got into it when you were telling that story. Gatik, in terms of business, what would be your biggest want today? What do you think is missing from the ecosystem that, if it was there, it would really, probably help you a lot?
Shubham, I can only share my personal experience with this. Like, there's a big, huge challenge to receive the COD payments from the shipping company. Sorry, this might not be the right platform, but we as a company, when we do businesses with shipping courier companies, so there has to be a system in place where you can get your COD amounts on time, and as soon as the customer pays to the courier company, and they can transfer it to us, and we can track that, because that period where it gets delayed, you are losing on a lot of money. And the brands and companies, they require that cash flow every time in hand to keep moving forward.
Right.
So there has to be a system where we can track our money as soon as the customer pays to the courier company, and we can track and we can take that money immediately.
Right. So I think wonderful that you have now found us, and we can definitely, do that for you. So maybe
I
not
think
as
it will be
quickly as
solved.
instantly, but yes, we do a shorter cycle of 3 days, and we can help you with that. So Arman, anything on your drawing board, which, on our list of desirable platform solution,
Oh,
or not even in terms of logistics, anything,
yeah, I mean, no,
marketing,
I wouldn't put
inventory.
it, yeah, I would put it in not in terms of logistics, but in terms of, I know you have, Unicommerce and Easy Ecom and so on and so forth, but I mean, custom built solutions, right? Like, I mean, my business is different from your business, is different from somebody else's business, right? Like, why does it have to be a one size fits all? Why can't someone look at my business and say, okay, we'll create something for you ground up, that's for yours to manage. And I mean, I'm not saying, they don't exist, they exist, of course, but it's, prohibitive in terms of cost and investment.
Yeah.
So why not, something on those lines? That integrates most of these things together. So I'm sure something like this exists. Haven't explored it enough either, but broadly, yeah.
I think I saw your website and it's pretty customized. I think there's a lot of customization, a lot of hard work you have put in the customization of the catalog, and it's a wonderful flow.
Thank you.
And I think that's it from my side. Would you guys want to ask anything? It's a ask me anything chat. So I have asked a lot of things to both of you. I would like to, give you also the stage to ask me anything. No logistics questions, please. Just kidding. Yeah.
I have a question. I mean, so I mean, essentially you guys are 3PL shipping aggregators, right? Today, and then moving towards fulfillment. And most of the aggregators have moved towards fulfillment as well, right? What's next? What's after aggregation and fulfillment? Like, what happens? I mean, the playbook from ShipBob is this, but like, it's a playbook. At the end of the day, I'm not saying that I'm the best, I'm the only cold brew player in the whole world. Like, yes, it's a global trend. I figured it out, implemented it in India, doing a decent job, right? I feel similarly in your industry where you are, like, there's something happening globally, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. And ShipLite is the only partner that we work with today at Sleepy Owl, and I'm grateful for the system and the support and the efficiency with which you built it. But you move from aggregation to fulfillment to what? What is next?
So thanks for the trust.
You may not. You can also not answer it, considering that.
No, I am gonna tell this for everyone. Thank you so much for first your trust in us. Secondly, we will always try to improve ourselves as much as we can for both of your benefit and everybody else's benefit. I think what you rightly said is there is fulfillment and the warehousing and fulfillment piece of it, which is the obvious next step. And then after that, Gatik, I think it is sorry, Arman, that how the market evolves plays a lot of role in this. Managing different types of logistics is something that is on the cards for us in the future. It is not just the, what we provide today as a 4PL, integrations of all the 3PLs, but also enabling, if you talk about enabling same-day delivery, why is fulfillment the only way to enable same-day delivery? Right? So that is one question we need to address. That do you necessarily as a brand have to decentralize your inventory for a same-day fulfillment? So that is one question we are looking for an answer to. And then we, if you talk about procurement, so the other side of things, procurement is necessarily still a challenge. The B2B vendors are a challenge. The LTL, not necessarily all your packaging material and all your bottles are coming in trucks. Like they must always not be full trucks. And even your supply chain from your warehouse to your retail outlets, like I said, in and out 24/7. So supplying to them on a regular basis, that is also something, which is a big challenge today, which the D2C brands, don't consider as a part of the main, the retail part of things. And the focus is completely on the sorry.
Run it in a very ad hoc manner versus running it.
Correct. Right. So the bit of mind that a D2C brand has to run their consumer fulfillment, that same has to be bought into the supply chain from end to end, from a procurement perspective, from a distribution perspective, and even from a retail perspective. Okay. So I think that from a bigger picture standpoint, that's what we are looking at.
I have one more question.
Please.
I think somebody on the group chat on the question and answer as an anonymous attendee asked me, and I gave an answer back as well. But I think cold chain last mile is really broken. Why not go for the kill there? Because why not just go for the kill there?
So I would say not just the last mile is broken, the cold chain is broken, right? So from the first to the middle to the last, everything is broken. It is a very cost intensive business. And, like I think everybody knows, Shiplight is an asset light carrier. And even the players in the market who are dealing in cold chain and, the recent surge in cold chain has been primarily because of the COVID supply chain that was, the COVID vaccine supply chain that had to be built. And it's just not an easy task. We are still as a nation building infrastructure and struggling with the daily logistics, I would say, that, the regular supply chain, the commodity supply chain, and to tackle the cold chain on top of it is something the enterprises, the bigger players, the bigger carriers have to see that, feasibility and returns on that, which I'm afraid we don't see there yet.
Understood. No, fair enough. That's good to know.
Yeah. So, but yes, certainly, as we grow, as the volumes grow, there will be feasibility in this. I think maybe 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, this will also get solved. So, Gatik, anything from you?
Shubham, I just wanted to know, I've been right now, I'll be, now start using Shiplight soon. So we have already signed everything. So now I'm using another one. So, this problem we always face today only, just like before joining this Zoom call, we faced this problem where customer was, it's the third time when she complained us that the courier guy, he called her and she told that she's available, and then immediately she gets a message that the party is unavailable. Of course, there's a mechanism where courier company, you can record, you can call, you can record, you can do, and that kind of, after this thing happens, there can be, a system in place where you don't need to pay for that or something like that. But can there not be a system where beforehand only the aggregator, they control this and they take some accountability where, this thing doesn't happen at all. And the customer and the company doesn't have to face this situation where a customer thinks that a company is pulling them around and they have a role in doing this thing where they haven't delivered something.
So I candidly not the first time I'm hearing this, and definitely not the first time we are brainstorming on this. We have already introduced, we are piloting with some customers a verification model where, as soon as an exception is triggered from the field force, our system triggers a call to the customer asking if the comment is right or not, if they have actually cancelled or not. So we feel that should help the problem that you're addressing, and we are taking ownership there. Secondly, not happening at all, Gatik, honestly would be a pipe dream right now. We are still at a, probably we are 70% there, but yes, there is still some last mile to go where this problem can be completely eliminated. A lot of our courier partners have introduced OTP verified cancellations, where the delivery boy has to first take the OTP from the consignee, and then only they can, mark a remark that they have cancelled or anything. So these practices are being followed. The instances have been reduced. We have been doing this for 5 years, and the percentage that we see, from back then, from if you talk about 16, 17, 18, from then now today, it has reduced to probably 20% of what it was back then. And for the rest of it, we are also taking steps. And I feel after we have taken these measures, this would be probably a 3 to 5% problem. So I hope that answers your question. And on that note, I would like to close this session and thank both our wonderful founders, Gatik and Arman. Thank you so much for participating and being candid with the audience. And, thank you so much. That's it from my side.